All right. Welcome.
Welcome.
Uh, Obviously, Owen Gill, Adrienne Gill. And this is, fun for us to be able to just have conversation.
Yep.
We've made obviously a big move, big announcements been posted, and we're part of, a new brokerage, a new organization, VPR United Real Estate. And I think a lot of people are asking questions like, why did,
Lots of questions. I
yeah,
think we're
like,
getting lots of questions, so we felt like we needed to sit
yeah.
down and kind of answer some questions, go over some really fun stuff that we have going on
Yeah.
and yeah.
So I think the big question is like, what's the reason?
Yep.
Why make the move?
Yes.
And, I think we both had different pain points that
Hmm.
led to us deciding that this was going to be something that needed to happen.
Hmm.
Not just like, hey, we wanted to happen, but hey, we were looking for a better opportunity and something that suited both of our skills a little bit more.
And suited our agents. Like I think that
Yeah,
was the biggest part
of
of this
course.
decision
Yeah,
was to bring our agents to a
yeah,
brokerage into a company that just felt right for them. And I think that's super important when making decisions. And that's how we like to make decisions. It's not just for us. And usually we're actually last on the list when we're making decisions. As far as prioritizing the reason why we're making those decisions, we usually make them for our agents or for
yeah,
everyone else before us. So that was definitely our first thought
yeah.
was what benefited our agents the best.
And, so following up with that, I think the key was what is important to our agents that we felt like when making this decision, not just about us, but recognizing, hey, we got a whole roster of people that have depended on us for years.
Mhm.
And we wanted to make sure that the transition to a new brokerage and a different model and different culture and all that, that they were going to actually probably get more of a benefit from it than us,
Yes,
when you say.
yes, absolutely.
So I know when we talked and we started interviewing, and asking questions, right? We're looking for, some other opportunities. We could see that we had to make a shift. What for you, when we were having that conversation, I know that there was definitely things that you're like, I don't like doing this anymore. So what was it for you that you think was the most important for us in this decision?
Well, for I know for me because I'm a big like serve person. Like I want to serve everybody. I'm
Yeah.
always last on my list, and that's okay. I wanted my agents to feel like they were being served still in the same capacity and in the same way that we were getting them, you know, from us, from our perspective or
Yeah.
from our level. So I wanted that to transcend into other levels of leadership. And what that looks like is, we have the local leadership and then we have a mid leadership and now we have also a corporate leadership. So we have three levels of leadership. And I
Yeah.
think that was really big for me was being able to see that at that level and see I know everyone likes to use the word culture, but it's more of like environment. It's, your community because your workplace isn't like I said, everyone wants to use culture, but it isn't a place that is just to me like it's a community. It has to feel like we're all connected, we're all helping each other, especially in real estate. It is such a tight knit community, and we have to lean on each other for that support. And I know that we give that at our level, but I wanted to make sure that we felt that at all the other levels as well, for us and for our agents.
Yeah, I was talking about this. So culture, that's a word that's thrown around a lot.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think culture can mean a lot of different things,
Mhm.
right? Culture can be the environment of the agents. It can
Mhm.
be, the mindset. It can be the success of transactions. It can be, you know, really just about anything.
Mhm.
And it's such a vague word in my opinion because everybody throws around we have the best culture, we have the best this, and I'm like, well, what is your culture defined by? Is
Mhm.
it defined by transactions? Is it defined by the model?
Mhm.
Is it defined by the people? And also, is it where's the growth? Where's the opportunity?
And is it
I
defined by support? I think
Yeah, yeah,
that's the biggest word I love is like
yeah,
support and not just support from us, but
yeah.
support from other agents.
Hmm.
And that's the biggest part I think for me.
Yeah. And I ask these questions to myself. I'm much more of like a self-reflective person about my past and decisions that you make when you're in real estate. You see the big shiny object and you're
Mhm.
like, ooh, if I just get this one thing,
Mhm.
I'm going to be super successful and I'm going to be able to check all the boxes and all my agents are going to love it.
And I
And
think a lot of brokerages sell agents on that too.
yeah,
Is that there's this here's this shiny thing that you may not have right now, but sometimes it's not
right.
the tools. I feel like it's yes, there's tools, but if you're not consistent in those tools and you don't
Mhm.
use them, on a daily basis, and if you're not honing your skills and rubbing elbows and sharpening iron with other people and gaining
Yeah.
that support,
Yeah. I also, I don't want to be the smartest, most successful person in the room ever.
right?
I want to always be,
Don't worry, you won't ever be because I'm in the room
well,
with
you're
you.
right. I mean, I have I've always been second in the room because I'm married to
Sorry.
her and I'm in business with her and we've raised our families and the kids also think that she's the smartest person in the room. So I'm always going to have to live with that as well. But I've always wanted to learn from more successful people
Right.
and I wanted that ability to take something from what they're doing and apply it to my business, apply it to my ethics.
Mm-hmm.
I've met some really incredible people over the years
And how
that
are you using all of that to pour into your agents?
how am I using all that?
Hmm.
Well, one, it's there's a I'm gonna get into this in a little bit, but I don't want to talk about it quite yet. But I will say that if operating from an ethical standpoint is something that our industry overall has had kind of a black eye on. We know there's things that have happened in the industry in the last couple of years, and the trustworthiness of agents has always been something that we're always trying to overcome. And the question is why is that? What is it about our industry that has led to people having doubt, right? Or these new models coming out, right? So what was the traditional model of real estate for years? What was your big name brands?
Hmm.
It was a 70-30 split or a 60-40 split, and we're gonna set up all these things for you. And if you follow these steps, we're gonna be successful, right? And then people started going, all right, well, what about the amount of money that I'm giving to my brokerage? What is the brokerage giving to me to provide the value for why I'm giving that up? And as think because there's a progression in real estate, right? Technology. Technology has made things easier, so you don't have to rely on a staff to do everything for you, right? And that was kind of what you were paying for. Also, because social media is there, do you need the big name brand to grow?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
No, I mean, I feel like in our day and age, yes, we started with the big names. I started with a big name.
Mhm.
And for me, and for I think for a lot of agents, yes, they may feel like that name's important, but I think more than the name, it's the people that stand behind that name.
Right.
So if they
Yeah.
believe in that brand, they're believing in the people that come with it.
Mhm.
So, and that is another reason why we moved to United, VPR United is because we have not only a big brand, but we have the people that we feel like we can be behind.
Right.
And we want to continue that,
Mhm.
to our agents
Yeah.
as well. Having them feel that support and feel I guess that warm and fuzzy feeling of
Mhm.
being behind a brand, because to me, that's what brand awareness is about. It's not only about the signs and the brand itself, it's about the people that are behind it.
Right. And as people are looking for brokerages, and they're looking for opportunity, I think if you go back 20 years, 25 years, what were the five big brands in real estate and what are the five big brands in real estate now?
Hmm.
It's changed
Hmm.
because
Tremendously. And
the
why do you think that it's changed?
because the value, the proposition value for real estate agents has changed,
Mm.
right?
How?
Well, there's a couple of things. One, splits are it's always going to be about, how much money am I going to keep? But the other thing is like, what happens if real estate's, is there other ways for me to make money? Can you make money just besides just selling real estate?
So a retirement plan in a sense, or
Right.
some kind of
Yeah, so being a
other line.
self-employed person, we don't have a retirement fund set up. We don't have a pension. So that's why, unfortunately, you see agents selling real estate till they're, 70 years old. And, does everybody want to do that? Do people want to sell real estate till they're 70?
Right. So what's a way they can do that?
They can do that through I mean, I think there's several brands out there, and we're one of them that has created like, passive residual income, where just the idea that, hey, I love working with this agent, and I think that they would be a great fit, and you would like to be part of the same brand.
Mhm.
And so now you're being rewarded with that by having these profit shares, these commission share structures that are out there. Whenever we were looking for a move, that was something that I'd heard had existed, and I knew those big brands were out there. But what made me nervous about some of that too was, well, where's the office? Where's still the old school feel of like I can walk into a place and I can see the agents that I work with, I can train, and I want the best of both worlds. And there's only a few out there that really can kind of provide both. And VPR, along with its partnership with United Real Estate, is one of the few brands that really kind of gives you the value of the office, the value of a great split, and the opportunity to have passive residual income.
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah. And when we were making the decision to decide that, we're going to go a different path for us and being in real estate, we had to think about how's that look for our agents?
Right.
Okay.
But I want to switch conversation for a minute. I
Okay,
want to talk
sure.
about leads.
Leads. Okay,
Yes.
sure. Let's talk about it.
So
I love talking about leads. That's always been my thing. So
how do you how do you approach leads as far as like what do you think agents want from leads?
they want
Like they
leads.
they you can get leads all the time, but
Oh, in a perfect world, the agents want the lead to call them and say, I'm at this house that's $450,000 and I would like to write an offer. And we would have no contingencies and we're cash. And we'll close in 10 days. And then
right,
the reality is they want leads.
right,
They want leads that are good leads,
right.
meaning that they're qualified, they're in the market for now, not I'm window shopping, and they want the opportunity to be able to take to the next step, which is show them houses, uh, build relationships with that client,
Mhm.
close the client, and have more that are continuously coming in. The struggle of real estate is having consistency in your business. Where's your business coming from? Right?
And so that's where the coaching and
Yeah.
the brokers
Mhm.
and the not just your brokers
Yeah.
here locally, but at all levels,
Mhm.
the training, the learning academy that we have is incredible.
And where's the Learning Academy at?
On Bullseye.
Right, and Bullseye. So what is Bullseye, right? So Bullseye is a great program. It's
Yes.
a it's kind of like our intranet for United Real Estate, which is the bigger portion of like this company that we're a part of.
Where you
And
can get
you can
leads.
get leads. You can actually, it has a CRM built in. If you know what CRM is, it's just your customer relation management system. It's how you keep in touch with your
If you don't know what a
clients.
CRM is, and we really need to sit down and talk
Right.
because that's a problem
Well,
in real
lots of people
estate.
know CRMs and they don't use them, but they are, if you learn how to use the tools, I think that's always, again, another big challenge. But what is it about Bullseye? What is it about United Real Estate that, along with this partnership with VPR, what is it that makes it so great? It's the fact that you've got one place where you can get leads, you can network. Um, what is happening? So what's the one thing I know that you can talk about this? What is it that you did when you got your Bullseye profile set up that led to you getting some business?
Yeah. So I set up our, Bullseye account and we have a great relocation referral program.
Mhm.
So I immediately set that up
Yeah.
and I had two leads and actually I'm gonna be showing one this weekend. But you get all your information and you have a national network, which is incredible, across, 25 to 30,000 agents. So it's not just, here, that's where that national corporate branding and connections comes in. So again, it's that three stack tier, which
Yeah.
I really love. But using your bullseye, using your CRM. We also have Bold Trail, which is a whole nother system, and it's very robust. So,
That's on the VPR
yeah,
side though.
VPR side,
Yeah.
but Bullseye is an incredible source for that for all types of things. They have an incredible AI system. The biggest thing that I love, because I love to serve people, love on people, and do that, is the touch program that we have inside of that. That you,
Yeah.
I think, pay like $50 for it, and you
What
get
does it do?
to, huh?
And what's it do? When do you want to activate that into your
Once it
business?
closes. So once
Once
your
it
client
closes.
closes, then you can activate that, and it will have a touch program for 5 years, which doesn't mean that you don't call them, because you still need to call your precious people and check on them. But it definitely helps automate that system for you, so you don't have to think about it consistently.
Yeah.
I'm really, really good at following up with my past clients. I check on them, I love on them, drop packages off to them. I do whatever I can to be that support for them, for my agents and my past clients. But to be honest, not everyone, that's not their quality. So in order to streamline it, automate it for people that may not be thinking of that all the time, like I am,
Yeah.
this is a great
I was
program.
bad. I've been bad at the follow up with my past clients.
Yes, yes.
I just
That's one of your weaknesses. You can talk about it all
yeah,
day.
yeah. Well, that's it. That's a whole other thing we can talk
Yeah.
about. But yeah, that's been a weakness for me.
But that's a good program to have.
It is because I think if agents invested into the follow up with the people that I've already trusted them
Mhm.
in real estate, they would see that those are the people that are going to be your biggest advocates for more opportunity,
Mhm.
for more business. Everybody's going after the internet leads. Okay. Again, getting back to like the lead part. What is it that what's the perfect world of leads? The perfect world of leads are you have programs like Zillow, which we have. You have programs like Lead Boost, which is part of the Bullseye. You have, um, you can invest in things like Google PPC. You can invest in social media advertising.
Or you can just go into our Zillow program.
You just go in the Zillow program. So, Zillow was like one of those words you didn't say in real estate, right? Like everybody goes through. Somebody told me this the other day, it made me laugh. And they said they had Zillow derangement syndrome, which was they thought that like Zillow was some kind of evil thing. The reality is that I disagree. I disagree, and I will say this. Zillow has done something very smart, which was they were kind of the first go-to internet. This is where you're going to look for properties. And whether it's you're dreaming about buying or you're a serious buyer, you don't have to be part of an MLS. You could just get on because Zillow was linked to all the MLSs. And so the consumer, it was a benefit to them. And what agents sometimes forget is that we've got to stop thinking about us at times and go, what is best for our clients?
That's right.
And Zillow has been a good source for the buyers and the sellers to get a general idea of what the market looks like. Where if they live here and they want to buy something in Tennessee, where do they start?
That's right. So we jumped on the Zillow train.
Yeah, we have. So we have something really unique. It's not your mom and dad's Zillow, right? It's a very unique opportunity because we have our own ISA team that's warming up and answering the leads from Zillow. So that's the other part of this. So in the perfect world of like why agents don't do well with leads in general is they don't like to prospect.
I love the process.
What is it that we're doing that's helping alleviate some of that
Yeah,
concern?
it's warming up the leads in
Right.
some capacity and passing them off.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I have a beautiful story of one of our agents who I've only closed one house this year, and she was really struggling
Yeah.
to close deals just because it is slow.
Yeah.
So we opened up the Zillow program, and she now has 4 houses under contract. She's about to get her fifth one. She wrote me this morning to give me the news, and the text I got from her.
And that's how long
I'm
have we had the
going
program?
a month.
A month.
We've had the program for a month, but and I may tear up telling the story, but she texted me a couple weeks ago and said that we changed her life, and that is what's important to me.
Absolutely. She's not the only one. We've got another agent that's got two under contract. I think for us is if we can change your life with opportunity and real opportunity.
Real opportunity, real systems,
real systems.
and real support. Because
Yeah.
I think back to as a baby agent, you know.
Mhm.
And I got thrown into it literally. And I think I always say now is like, you throw me to the wolves and I'll return leading the pack. And that's exactly what I did when I got to real estate.
Mhm.
Um,
Why is that?
because I was consistent and I had
Yeah.
follow up, and I
Yeah.
didn't really have a ton of training in the very beginning, but I will say I had an incredible team, and I came from a team mindset, and so for me, that's how I love to run our brokerage. Is
Mhm.
because we all are a team. No matter what team we're on within the brokerage, we
Yeah.
are one team. And then I also think of the real estate community as one team. So we should be having each other's backs no matter what. Even if you're
Right.
at a, you know, another brokerage, we should be working together to solve problems and to do these things. But yeah, changing lives is like is my jam. It's the reason why I get up every day is to do this for agents and to fill them up the way that I was filled up back then.
Mhm.
And to give support to them and to back them and to not ride the roller coaster of real estate. And instead have a consistent plan in
Yeah.
place.
And there's so much that you just have unpacked, I think is important to talk about. But I want to
Was
finalize.
it the tears?
Well, no, there's a lot that you said, but one thing I want to clarify when you talk specifically about Zillow and why our system is probably the most effective.
Mhm.
One, you and me have had experience with either Zillow or like Realtor.com.
Mhm.
We've been through the
Mhm.
the gauntlet of those types of leads, and like we've had the success. We know the systems that work.
We know the
What's
scripts
making
that
it
work.
what's
Yeah.
making this effective is that the ISA team, if you know what ISA is, it's just an inside sales. So we have a team within United Real Estate that every time someone inquires about a property in the Mobile, Baldwin County area, they get a live agent, a real person that is been in the industry that's going to reach out to them.
Mhm.
They're gonna ask questions. Hey, is this an area you're looking for? Hey, have you got an agent that you're already working with? Hey, have you talked to a lender? How you come up? We have a thing called LP Mama, right? Which
They're
is,
running through LP
yeah.
Mama.
So agents really don't. There's a lot of agents they're just not good at the opening.
Right. It
This
feels
is really
awkward to them,
it
and I
feels
get that.
awkward. So this now that you've got this professional staff like I would call it warming up, but it's starting
It's a deep
starting the
conversation.
conversation. So once they've done that, now that what we can really focus on with our agents are, setting up searches, setting up them for showings, and working through contracts, like building the things that really are the money makers, right? In this, that if you're really good at, pivoting, which is, this happens all the time because people don't know what they don't know until they get out there and start looking at houses. So if you go out there and you're like, hey, I inquired about a house that's $325,000 and it's in West Mobile. Okay. So you go, you meet with the folks, and what I've always done and what we've trained our
Mhm.
agents to do, which is, hey, if you once you've had a little bit of conversation while you're going out there to meet with them, go ahead and find three or four other properties that are in the area that are kind of the same way. Once you do that,
Right.
you're
We're just coaching them through some of
we're
the
coaching them
steps. Yeah.
through those steps so that way when they show up, because nine like it's just like an open house. Reality is that most people that walk into open house don't write the offer on the open house, but you're kind of getting an idea of what they're looking for. This is the same thing that happens with any Zillow or any of these internet leads is, can we get to the point where we've already kind of got a general idea of what they're looking for? Then they go out and they look, and then you've taken them and shown them some other houses. Now you're building the trust. And the most important thing I can tell you about being a good real estate agent is that you need to be able to, one, think on your feet. You got to be able to pivot really fast, and you need to establish some trust and some knowledge of your market to be able to be good at this.
We train on when we're together
Right, so
for
that's what we
agents.
train.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we train on. So I just wanted to hit on that because I think what's making this program successful is not just that we're getting a bunch of leads,
No, it's
or
the
that
training
even
and the
that the
coaching.
ISA is like warming them up. It's just the fact that we're we know how to get agents to the next step. And if you can do that, then you'll see the life-changing money. The life-changing money, like I've always said this, money facilitates the dream, right? Everybody has motivation for why they want to do this. And whether it's a message like that from one of our agents or another one of our agents that's still like, working in the restaurant industry and trying to like build their momentum in this. I've got another person I'm talking to, and like he wants so bad to be able to this to be his full-time gig.
Mhm.
And I'm like, let's make it happen. So again, when you talk about leads, we're this company has got it.
Mhm.
We got it going on. We got more stuff coming. It's live and good quality leads that are going to change your business. And that's what we want. But getting to some of the other things you talked about, right? Your passion, your heart,
Mhm.
and something that I think you really hit on, which I really want to talk about, which is teams. Okay.
Mhm.
Team is another thing that scares a lot of agents.
Right.
Why? Why is it? What's the number? Again, it gets to those five pillars we'll talk about here in a
Right.
little bit. What is it that agents are reluctant to join teams for?
Money.
Money,
They don't want
right?
to give away their money.
Right.
Yes, but I will say, I'll talk about this at a high level is another question that I know a lot of agents ask because you're an experienced agent, you're doing 15 to 20 deals a year. So how do I get to that next level? I'm very good at that because that's what I had to do, right? So my first year in real estate sold 48 houses. And I knew that the next year I hit 56 and I realized that that was pretty much my ceiling at the time as a single agent in this industry. So what I did is I leveraged that. So as you grow, you have to leverage. And I know there's a lot of agents that don't want to do it because
Yeah.
that digs into your pocketbook, and so that digs into your thing. But
Mhm.
one thing I did learn, and it was, I struggled with it like tremendously. I did not want to hire a showing partner. I was thinking in my head, oh my gosh, like I already am giving a 50% split to my team. And then now I'm going to give another out of my 50%. I was giving 25% of that amount to a showing partner.
Yeah.
But what it did was exponentially grew my business. And what happened was that after, 2, 3, 4 years, I have built a database of thousands of past clients that refer me to their people, but then also, buy and sell again and again and again, right? Yeah. So, hiring that person actually ended up making me way more money in the long run, and then I leveraged out contract to close transaction coordinating because I do not do that. I've only done it one time my entire career of 12 years and I cried myself to sleep. So I literally pass that off to someone and I'm really good at delegating
Yeah.
and leveraging things.
Yeah.
And I think that that is something that if you're an experienced agent at that 15 to 20 mark, or maybe even a little bit more than 20, like 20 to 25, and you're feeling yourself riding that roller coaster, it's because you don't have enough leverage in your business. And that's where I come in or he comes in and we coach you to get to that level, to build out your own team. And whether that be silent partner teams behind you, like assistants, or showing partners that's out there working, but hand in hand with you, we can help build that for you and what that looks like.
Yeah. And, again, just talking about teams, and I'm full transparency. We've ran a very successful
Mhm.
team in the past. Right now, that's not really our focus as far as like running like our own team within the brokerage. I think for us, because we want all agents to be successful, but I will say this: teams are are there for a purpose.
Mhm.
We were on a team. We gave up 50%
Mhm.
of our
Well,
commissions.
that word. We didn't give up 50%. We
Okay,
were given 50%.
correct. But you're right. It's not giving up. It was investing
Yes.
into our long-term business
Correct.
because most agents that are successful in our industry, most of them started on teams.
Yes. I think the perspective of that is you just need to get out of the mindset that you're giving up money and actually you're giving yourself life, leverage,
Yeah.
and really a future of residual income. Because those people are going to continually to come back to you over and over again if you have a consistent system in place and you have the right support. Because an agent that's doing 5 to 10 deals a month, there is no way that you're able to provide the best customer service to your client, and that client, things may fall through the crack, and that client's not going to hire you back. But if you have that support and you have that leverage out there, then you are a well built machine. You're like the Chick-fil-A of real estate.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't run that type of
Right.
momentum with just one person. So I think giving up is not the mindset that you need to have. It's investing in your future and investing in yourself.
Yeah. But I think also another key part to that when it comes to teams is that some people will go, I'm going to start a team. Okay. And if you're going to start a team and you're going to bring other producing agents on, not just have people that show for you, but actually say, hey, I'm going to feed you opportunity, then you have to be willing to invest to do that. Right.
Into them. Yeah. And I think that we've seen a lot of teams that started and they thought that it was just easy money. And they started a team and they got these agents and promised these agents all these things, and then there was no,
But they were missing the other
they're
part.
missing the other part, which is the coaching and the time. It was Owen and I were not even in production there for a little bit at the end of our mega team is what they
Yeah.
call it. But we were fully in, helping these agents build their success. And I always told all of the agents, there comes a time where that time on your team expires and you're
Hmm.
not a baby agent anymore. You're a grown up agent, and let's
Yeah.
get you out there and let's push you out. Because that's the best thing for me is to see them grow and to like take that little birdie and just like let it fly and see what it can do on its own, because I've helped build them, or you've helped build them into that agent that they are.
Yeah.
And I love seeing
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah. And again, I will always give credit to where I came from, and I'm very thankful for the people that coached me in the beginning
Mhm.
and mentored me in the beginning. And it's crazy for us to look back and see the amount of big time producing
Yes.
agents that were all part of the same
Yeah,
place.
and we
And
helped change.
we branched off and like into all over like Mobile and Baldwin County,
Okay,
and
well, let me
it's
ask you a
exciting.
question.
So
Let me
yeah.
ask you a question. What's some questions that agents should be asking their broker
Questions that they should be asking their broker. Ooh.
if you're interviewing with a brokerage? Like, what are some questions that you should be asking? Or if you're at your brokerage now and you need to, what are some questions that you should be asking?
Some questions that I would ask are, what kind of support am I going to get? Right? Broker support, I think, is very important. I think that most agents, unless you're just a veteran that's been in it and you kind of are self-sufficient,
And we
and
have some of
we
those.
have some of those, but the typical agent's making a move for a couple of reasons:
Mhm.
money, leads, right, and support, culture as well, right? That's we can get into all that, but so if I'm asking, I'm going to a brokerage. My question again, I was someone who's been an owner and all
Mhm.
that. I what I was looking for in my move this time was, you know, how much money am I going to make just by making the move, and what's the value that you're giving me
Mhm.
by joining the brokerage, joining this brand.
How will you help me level up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's different levels up, like for everybody, right? The new agent has has expectations. The agent that's been in it but is struggling, is
Mhm.
not making it, has their own pain points. The agent that's emerging, they have their own pain points. And then
And
you've got
experienced agents
and
have pain
and then
points.
the experienced agents. And experienced agents are probably the ones that need to do a little bit more self-reflection,
Mhm.
because they have what is it? I think control is
Mhm.
the one thing that the agent that's done, let's just say 20 or more transactions a
A
year
year.
consistently, they have a hard time letting go of
Mhm.
control.
And
It's
that's where we
them,
go back to the leverage.
right?
Yeah.
It's what's going back to the leverage. So if I'm a successful agent and I'm making a move to another brokerage, the question I'm gonna ask that broker is, what are you gonna do for me to help me let go?
Well, or to help me check my blind spots, because I
Yeah,
think we all
absolutely.
have blind
That's a
spots.
control thing.
Yeah, and so I think having that outside perspective of someone,
Hmm.
and not that we're more experienced than the person that's coming on, they may be more experienced than us, but
Right.
just like we need people to check our blind spots, experienced agents need to have their blind spots checked too, and that's what we're here for, is
Yeah.
for that kind of accountability. And I always say accountability is love, and I tell my kids that all the time.
They
um
love it too when she says that.
Accountability is love,
I love it when she says that to me.
well, because you have to think about it. If no one's keeping you accountable, then we start to slide. I know for me, it's working out. Like I have to have him to keep me accountable to be like, let's go to the gym. I would rather sit at my
Yeah.
computer and work and sell real estate than go to the gym. But I have to be held accountable for the things that are the eat the frog situations. That's another little phrase that I say all the time. And so
Great
the
book.
things that you have to do first, and I always tell my agents that, like, you got to do it first. If it's something that you're dreading, do it first, so that way you don't have to dread it all day. But
Yeah.
I say all that to say is that, like, you have to have that accountability and you have to have someone checking that for you, and that's where I think good leadership comes in, because not all
Right.
leadership will do that for you.
Right. And that's a good point to kind of transition to something we talk about, which is like a lot of people, a lot of brokerages, they have what we call the sales meeting, right?
Mhm.
The sales meeting. It's we get all everybody in the office. It's almost like the Glen. If for those of you that are a little bit older, the Glengarry Glen Ross sales meeting. The coffee is for closers. Get everybody in a room. Tell them how that if you do these five things, you're going to be you're gonna figure it out,
Mhm.
right? I think that so we're doing something a little different, and that we're going to do. We're starting to actually we started Monday.
Mhm.
So the first Monday of every month we have what we call a SWOT analysis. And people are like, what is that? Is that some kind of like,
Mm.
tactic to,
Mhm. It is a tactic.
yeah, and that's actually one of the things. So when I say SWOT, what we're doing is the first Monday of every month, all the agents within our brokerage are getting together and we're identifying some different parts of your business and different things. And what is SWOT? So what is SWOT? So SWOT it's SWOTT. So I have an extra T on there. I actually added that. So the S is strengths. What are the strengths that you in your business? What are the
Mhm.
strengths that you have that's making your business work? W is the weaknesses. What are your weaknesses? What's the weaknesses? What are the things that either whether it's procrastinating, the hard conversations or the social media
Mhm.
consistency, whatever that is, or getting someone to do your transaction coordination for you, whatever
Mhm.
that is. Then there's O, which is the opportunities. Where are the opportunities at in your business? And then the first T is threats. What are the threats to your business?
Yourself, mostly. No,
Right.
just kidding.
Most of the time, but when I say, people go, oh, threat, that's a really strong word. No, threat is not necessarily like, oh, a competitor or anything like that.
Yeah.
The threats are what is it if you don't change,
Mhm.
it's
Will it
going
derail you?
it's going to derail you. And then the last part of this, which is you look at your strengths, you look at your weaknesses, you look at your opportunities, and you look at your threats, and you go, what are the tactics that I'm going to use by recognizing these four other parts of me that I can go with a plan forward.
Mhm.
So I was a military person. I did 12 years in the Army. I spent about half of that as an officer. And we used to do this thing called the MDMP, which is a military decision making process. And what you did is you came into this room and everybody had a role. And everybody had to understand what we're doing to get to a common objective. So we're kind of taking that
Mhm.
and we're blending it into the real estate world and your business to go, what is it that we can do in these five aspects of our business to grow it,
Mhm.
to take the next step.
And that's why the community comes
Right.
important part, right?
Yeah.
And the VPR United Real
Yeah.
Estate community is like, we can bring in people from, VPR, which is that second tier, or people from
Yeah.
United at the top tier, and we can bring them in to help us build
Mm.
some of that opportunity tactics,
Yeah.
seeing some of all of our, weaknesses, strengths, opportunities, threats, and then using their learning academy, using the bullseye accounts,
Mm.
using all of the technology to also pour into that and then create a
Yeah.
plan for us and to create those tactics and how we're going to
Yeah.
address all of that. So,
Yeah. Because the thing about real estate, and I always go back to this. Someone taught me this when I was a young officer. And I came up with this incredible plan for this like mission we're gonna do. I was like, I got it, I got everything laid out. I've got like, where we're gonna put all our troops, I've got our logistics built out, everything. And I was like, this is gonna work. Like there's no way that like we're gonna lose this operation. And my boss, who was a lieutenant colonel, looked at me and he goes, now I want you to do something. I was like, what's that? He goes, I want you to now turn this around, look at the map like from the other side and say, what would they do?
that's right.
Right? So same thing that you can do in business. When you're recognizing your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats, and then coming up with a tactic or a plan for operations for that blend all that together so that you recognize it is like, how are you going to effectively do that? And are you just going to listen to yourself or are you going to listen to other people?
That's right.
Everybody loves their plans.
I know
Everybody
that
loves
you
their
loved
plans.
your plans.
Everybody loves their
Yeah.
plans. You love their plans. Everybody loves their plans. Everybody's like, this is going to be great. And then like you do that awesome social media post, right? You're like, this one post is going to go viral on TikTok and I'm going to have 1 million followers and that'll be my other stream of income for my business,
Mhm.
right? And then you get like 8 views
Mhm.
and you're like, what happened?
Right.
Right? So that's the thing about this.
With all these tactics and all
Hmm.
these things that you have, and
Yeah.
with all this community with VPR and
Hmm.
all the things, what kind of agent um are you looking for? Are we looking for to come to for our brokerages?
Coachable agents.
Okay,
All right.
what does that mean?
Meaning that what you came to us for a purpose. One of those five pain points. Okay.
Okay, what are those?
Those five pain points, those five P's, right? Obviously, one of them is your profitability, which is tied to what? Your splits,
Mhm.
right?
I was
That's
gonna say that, thank you. Yeah. Go
sure.
ahead.
Take a pause. We're gonna start that over.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of things,
Uh-huh.
but I really want to focus on you interviewing agents, and I know that you have been interviewing quite a few agents, and
Yeah.
I just want to know like what's making agents look at VPR United, look at us, and want to interview with you.
Great question. And ultimately, it really comes down to five things. And this is, something I've looked at. I was like, all right, let me just, but and it's the same conversations that we're having all the time.
Mhm.
So I call it the five P's, right? It's the five reasons that agents really, uh, whether they like where they are or not, they're listening and looking to interview at other
Right.
brokerages. And that first one is paycheck, right? Paycheck is how much money am I going to make with you? And that goes down to, which is like, what's the model, right?
Mhm.
What's the model with us? So the model for us is a 90-10 split. So agent gets 90%, then 10% goes to BPR. Then on top of that, so once you pay $5,900 into your split, you cap. So cap is like a big thing. It's a big word now, right, in real estate,
Big
which
word.
is and not everybody has adapted that, but there's some names that have done it in
Yes.
the past, and we do it as well. So once you pay $5,900 in, you don't pay anything else until your anniversary date, which is the day that you joined VPR United. Okay, and there's not so, and people go, all right, well, what's the key to that, right? And the key is that um, is there a hidden fee on top of that? Is there anything else? Am I going to pay a corporate fee? Am I going to pay,
Hmm.
all these other stuff? And no, you're not. So that's the first thing, right? Next thing that you're going to look
Well, I want
at.
to talk about that again,
Okay,
but also want to expand a little bit because we
sure.
talked about this last night because we were talking about someone that you were interviewing, and it once you actually break it down, because we do have a downline, the
Hmm.
company's
Yeah,
actually not getting 10%. So
right.
tell us about that.
So that's part of like the second P, which
Oh,
is your
the direct.
portfolio. Like P, which is the portfolio, which is what's the other revenue streams that are built into the business, right?
Okay, yeah.
So downline is a very, popular word that we hear,
Hmm.
right? And its question is like, what is a downline? Is it, it's like they call multi-level marketing? Is it profit share? Is it commission
Yeah.
share?
Is it a
Okay.
pyramid scheme?
Is it a pyramid scheme? Okay, all these things. But what it is that, so with us, so out of that 10% that is paid into VPR, 6% is reinvested into the agents in a three-level downline.
Yes.
So if if I have a conversation with an agent and they decide to join us, um, out of that 6% and they do a deal, 50% goes to me as a profit share. So it's not coming off of anything extra that the agent is taking. It's
Hmm.
already part of the company side that's compensating me for one, sharing the values and the culture of
Hmm.
our brokerage and the professionalism, by getting other people that would say, hey, I align with you, I want to be there,
Hmm.
right? So that's another very important part of this.
Yeah. And the reason why I spoke about that was because I think a lot of other companies have something like a downline, but
Hmm.
what they're doing is you're getting a profit share. So it's a little bit different with us because it's actually not a profit share.
It's a commission share. So
Yes.
here's, and again, to help you understand the three levels. So your first, basically, if I recruit an agent to the brokerage, they do a deal. They're in my first line,
Hmm.
okay, of the profitability. That's 50%. If that agent recruits somebody and they do a deal, I get the second line, which is 33.3%. Okay.
Hmm.
And then if
That second
that
agent.
second agent recruits somebody to the brokerage and they do a deal, I get the third level, which is 17.7%.
Right.
Okay. So, and that's where we stop. Now, people like the, the thing is that there's some other brands out there. They got like 7 levels and 10 levels,
You
and
have to unlock
you
it or
gotta you
get
gotta
that
have
many
so many
agents.
producing agents in it, and it's like it's a math problem or a calculus problem, and I'm not that good at math. So
No,
I don't need a
not good
math
enough for
degree to be
me.
able to understand how I'm going to get paid. So to be as simple as possible to explain it to you, uh, if I recruit one person to the brokerage and they do a deal that month, on the 15th of the next month, I get paid. There's
Yes.
no like, you got to have 15, you got to have 5 people in it to unlock level 2. And I'm like, this isn't a video game. This is my business, right?
Right.
Okay.
And it also isn't a profit share, whereas if they had a big Christmas party, then maybe your profit share isn't as big. Or if they, I don't know, decided to put billboards up, then maybe your profit share isn't as big. So there's like there it is a very straight, simple thing. And I always use KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And I don't mean stupid as in a mean way, but
Yeah.
like we just need to keep it simple. And this is exactly
Yeah.
what this is. And I think this is another reason why we chose, VPR United was because it was such an amazing thing for our agents, but it
Yeah.
also kept it simple where we could understand it and
Yeah.
we could explain it and then our agents could understand it.
Yeah, and best way I could tell you is this. So if you recruit one person to the brokerage and they're doing some transactions, you really ultimately go into a 96-4 split.
Correct.
That's the truth. There, because that one agent that's doing deals that's came in because you were like, hey, this is going to be a great fit for
Mhm.
you. You're not doing 90-10 anymore. You're now
Right.
because 6% is being reinvested. So it's really a 96-4. And check this out. If you cap on top of that, you cap, and then they're still producing and you're making income, you're really getting all the way up to what we say like is 110% return
100% return.
on your investment. So I don't know much else out there
That competes with it,
that
yeah.
competes with that.
Okay, cool.
That's
Well,
ultimately
once you get these agents in the door, then training is always a big question for agents. Um, where can they find training? What does that training look like with VPR?
you talking in person, or are we talking all
All
of
of
it?
it.
Okay. So obviously training there's multi levels to when it comes to like training opportunities, right? The old school way, which is the in-person training, that's something you and me have always done anyways. So that's
That's
kind
the
of
local
natural.
level.
That's the local level of training, right? That's how to do a contract and how to set up your CRM and
Lots of other trainings,
right,
right?
lots of other
Weekly
trainings,
trainings.
right? Again, getting back to the whole SWOT, that's part of it. And then you take that and then we build the little small things in, which is like, what are you not good at, right?
Right.
And then we'll do
The
additional
things of it.
trainings. That's why it's
Just
important to do
in-person
SWOT.
coaching,
Right.
your one-on-one coaching,
Yeah.
that's where that is,
Yeah. If your
right? The local.
weaknesses are, I don't really know contracts that well, then hey, we're going to make sure that's a strength for you going forward. The next level of that is, which is the online, the virtual opportunities, right? So we have the best of both worlds. So I'll just hit on VPR and then I'll talk about
Mhm.
United Real Estate as a whole. So VPR, one, our downline program is called an ambassador program, just to clarify that. Uh, Steve Wagner, who's the founder of VPR, he's founded this 27 years ago with his mom, has grown it from zero to with 5,500 agents now today. He trains, and a lot of people in his office train. They have a 25,000 square foot, headquarters in Duluth, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta. And
Said
I've
you
got
could
on
go to
there.
as
Yeah,
well.
you can go. We've been there. It's awesome. It's amazing. They have a wonderful staff there. So we're getting like that next level of
Mhm.
training from them. And he teaches you about like ambassador, but he also teaches you a lot of other, incredible tools that are out there. And then you've got the third level. That third level, that national level, which is United Real Estate.
Mhm.
That's where Bullseye comes into play, which
Yes.
is that platform. But it's, you get in Bullseye and every single day you can look on there a calendar of events,
Yes,
right?
it's incredible. I get emails every week on different trainings that are available. I can click on them and sign up for them
Right.
and just hop on. There's on-demand training too. That's part of that learning academy that they have
Yeah.
as well. And I like on demand just because I have such a busy schedule that even if I like have the best of intentions to like go to that live training, like for some reason something will come up. So that on demand online training to me is like super important for me and my business. Because when I had small children, I'd put them to bed and then I could, you know, get myself in my bed and I could do my on demand training at the time that was right for me.
Right.
So
I think
that's
what you have to ultimately look at when it comes to training at 3 levels, when you're talking about the local level, the mid level, and the
Mhm.
national level, which is all of them are going to have specialized in different aspects of your business. I think the national level of opportunity is understanding the big picture of real estate.
Hmm.
And so, Rick Haas and Dan Duffy, the two main leaders of United Real Estate, we get the quarterly reports. They're looking at the big picture, which is that macro level
Hmm.
of real estate. And they're explaining like, hey, what's United Real Estate doing on the national level? And then what is the whole industry doing?
Right.
Right. And for me, that's very important because I like to see the big picture. I like the macro level. And then you can take it to the micro level
Which
and
is
go,
see
right. So,
things.
which is how she likes to see things. So, I think if you're looking for training, you're going to get as much of the macro or the micro as you want.
Hmm.
And to me, that's what's most important.
And you get to choose, and I think that's really important is that you get to choose at what level you want to do it. I know Owen always says the head in the sand type of mentality. You don't want to keep your head in the sand. You still want to have that macro understanding, but again, you get to choose what to train on, when to
Right.
train on it, and I just love that part of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So on board. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
We're going to keep rolling, but I'm going to retouch my screen real fast. And then that way we can keep going. We can just cut this out. Right. Okay. So
Okay, so you talked about
I've talked about,
paycheck,
yeah,
portfolio.
right.
What else?
Pipeline. Pipeline is your leads. Where's my business coming from? Right.
Right, and we talked
So,
about that a lot.
yep. So that's kind of that third P of like what agents are looking
Mhm.
for, in the brokerage. So the pipeline is, whether it's the Zillow or it's the lead boost or it's, teaching you how to do work with sphere of influence.
Farm neighborhoods.
Right. Out of farm neighborhoods. And only that, but like if you have, here's the best way I can explain pipeline from the standpoint of why it's important to, because this is where people get stuck in that number two, which is portfolio, which is if I just recruit a bunch of people to the
Mhm.
brokerage, I'm going to make all this money, but you're recruiting a bunch of people that don't sell real estate,
Right.
right? Because you don't have some of these other aspects of things built in, like the trainings and all that. So pipeline. Also, what's important with pipeline is, do you have a bunch of producing agents at your brokerage? I get that question all the time. How many people at your brokerage have done $1 million just in sales? Not meaning $1 million in commission, but
Yeah, millions.
they've reached $1 million in sales, in their calendar year. Because why is that important?
Because they can learn from them.
Only that, but what's the other? We talk about branding all the time. So if you put more what in the ground, what happens to the overall branding identity of that brokerage as you grow?
Seeds in the ground.
No, signs.
No signs.
Signs. Seats, signs, something that's similar, right? And so
Flowers and
what you want visibility. Okay. You want visibility,
yes.
right? You want visibility.
Yeah.
So with the visibility of having a lot of producing agents in your office, whether it's the social media presence,
Mhm.
or the other things, that's what's going to help you. Okay. So it's really important that not just when you're talking about leads and all that, but understanding is like the other people in that office. That's kind of, and that leads into the fourth one,
What is that?
people.
Okay.
People. Because again, the pipeline is part of it, but it's a good transition to
The people are
understand.
sowing the seeds and putting out the
Right,
signs.
the people are sowing the seeds, putting out signs. But what is it also about the fourth P, which is people?
The community that you're in that
Right.
brokerage. Yeah. Like leaning on other people
Yeah.
to help out or to learn from,
I
like
think this is
iron
the culture part too, right?
iron. Yeah, well that's what
Yeah.
I'm replacing culture.
I know. I just love to throw that word out there
Yeah.
because everybody loves to use culture. Culture.
Yes, it's the culture of it
Right?
all. Yeah.
Yeah. So with people they're looking for like what's the makeup? What's the blueprint of the people that's within your brokerage? I like to listen. I'm always happy to someone tell me like I just wish you had more of like this
Mm-hmm.
in your brokerage. So interviewing agents and having those conversations, it's also me recognizing weaknesses and blind spots, right? And it also helps me understand like what are we going after, right? It's the same thing. The question is like what kind of agents do we want?
Right.
Right? We want agents that want to produce. We want to have agents that are
Coachable
they're
and
coachable.
and
They're
help
all
others.
yeah, absolutely.
Servitude attitude is
Correct.
definitely number one.
Absolutely. Because um, you should be wanting to go out as real estate agents. you should be wanting to go out and know, you should know your community, one,
Mhm.
okay? You should know like the great restaurants. You should know like where you'd recommend, someone to go to the dentist,
Mhm.
all those things. So that I think that people part of it is so important. And this is where that social media aspect of things is so vital.
Mhm.
Um, Social media is dominating our culture now from that standpoint, just culture in general.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, so what is it that ultimately has people call me and go, I'd like to learn more?
Mhm.
Well, they saw something,
Yes.
right? They saw something on social media. They, drove to their neighborhood, noticed that there's, you know, three listings in a neighborhood that's all coming from this place. Even though I know we get into other things,
Mhm.
but ultimately, like they're seeing that, and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, right. And so the agents are seeing, oh wow, this brokerage seems to be doing really good. They got a bunch of people doing business, so that's
One of the
super
people, right?
right
So what's the fifth one?
portfolio.
Okay.
So what's the portfolio is like what is what do you offer,
Mhm.
right? That we can talk about the training,
The
the
technology. Yeah.
technology, the splits, the passive income, the people. What is it? What's those tools? What's
Mhm.
those things that are kind of built into it? So the
Mhm.
portfolio is like what am I getting, as a package if I
Mhm.
join VPR? And what am I getting as a package if because VPR is part of the United Real Estate
Mhm.
Network.
Community, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, those are the five things.
Yeah.
That's the five, P's. That's ultimately like what real estate agents are asking. They want to know. That's the most important stuff. Um, I think that if you can answer those five questions and you can do well with that, then I think you're more than likely going to be a landing spot for a
Mhm.
lot of people and people from different backgrounds, right? And different specialties within the industry. Because we've got people that love to do commercial real estate. We've got people that love to work the beach market, this the second home. You've got the first time home buyer agent, right? So there's all those different things, but ultimately it's like can you hit on all five of those?
Right.
And if you can, if you even if you don't hit on all five, I think you want to be able to hit on as much of that as possible. And if we're not, then that's what we're working on, right? We want to learn from. I'm learning a lot from interviewing agents.
That's good. I love that.
Yeah,
And if I'm a new agent,
right.
I'll ask myself this question because I know the program really well because I helped create it. Um, I've kept a mentorship program. Mentorship
Yes.
is huge for me. So
Hmm.
if you're a new baby agent, we have obviously so much training and so many things to give, and you have coaches and within us and within other brokers, we do have multiple associate brokers within our brokerage. But as far as a mentor that's assigned to you, I think that's super important. I really like to interview my mentees, my mentors, and match them up personality wise, just to make sure it's a good fit. And then you're part of that and built into that mentorship program. They do have a whole checklist they have to go through to make sure you sign off, they sign off. It's just a beautiful program that I think helps agents get their feet wet because there's so many questions.
Hmm.
Um, and you don't even know what to ask until you're in it. And so once you start going down that pipeline of business and finally getting something on their contract and there's more questions, right? And
Yeah.
then so it just builds. And so I think it's good to have obviously your brokers or your coaches as well, I like to call us, but you also have that dedicated mentor that's
Hmm.
going to be checking in on you
Yeah.
and making sure you're okay. Because like as much as I love to do that, I only have so many hours in a day. So, or he does too. So we try to make sure that that person
Yeah.
gets a special person that gets to be assigned to them and help them and lead them, take their hand along the way. And I know our mentors, we only allow them to have up to three mentees at a time. So that way they're not overloaded, they're not taking business from themselves or time for themselves, but also that they're able to really focus on that new agent.
Right. And something that's I think is really important. You understand like a mentorship program is you've got to be able to you got to align a mentor with a mentee that where I think they're going to do well together.
Yeah.
But the other part of that is that, and this is the part that drives me crazy sometimes in our industry is that mentors should be experienced agents
Hmm.
that they've got some
Deals.
pedigree to them. They've done
Deals.
deals. And I see I see too many agents out there that are offering advice with very little experience.
Experience not in years, but in
And
transactions.
transactions. I'm not talking about yours. I'm talking about transactions. I'm talking about if you're coming to us and you're like, hey, I need someone to help me like
Mhm.
through the process of this, then we're gonna make sure that they've been through it,
That's
right?
right.
So
Yeah.
that's very important. So I want to make sure that understand that also that our mentors are also compensated in part of that mentorship program. So
Yeah.
again, that goes along with that other parts of it. So I think but that's your baby.
It's my baby, it's my bread and butter. I love it.
She
But
loves it.
I will
Yeah.
say, just to wrap this up, because I know that we also are running a little bit of time, but I always say it's relational, not transactional. And I mean that across the board in real estate. And I think that's the reason why we chose VPR United Real Estate is because, we're with our clients, it shouldn't be transactional, it should be relational. And with our agents, it should be the same. I'm not looking at every agent and counting up their transactions. I want to get to know them and their family and be
Hmm.
part of their life and part of their community and whatever
Yeah.
that looks like with them. So in VPR is the same way, just hearing Steve's story that him and his mom started this. It's a little grassroots, company, and just hearing like how much they grew and the fact that they are so relational with each other, with their agents, going into their corporate office and seeing them. And then at the
Yeah.
United side of it, going even higher than that, you think corporate, you think transactional, you think stiff, whatever. But I have felt that it's been so relational
Hmm.
for me. And so I will say that always is that the biggest reason that we chose it was because it felt like a community and felt very relational,
Yeah.
not transactional for them.
Yeah. And I think the last thing I'll say is this, which is national brands, because United is a national brand. Okay. I think that people are still learning, but they've got quite the agent count. I think that it's important, and I love all the different types of brokerages out there, but being part of a network on a
Yeah,
national level that again you can learn from, and then again taking it from the VPR all the way down to the local level, which is VPR United Alabama, S and everything else. I think you need to take that into consideration when you're looking at as an agent, like where you want to land
that's right.
and where you want to be. I think just jump in brokerage is not a good thing. I didn't do it.
No.
I've done this twice, and one was really just a transition, and this is kind of the same thing. So like I'm very adamant. Like when I make a move, it's important for me that I want to feel like this is home,
That's right.
and it's going to be my long term place. And I can tell you like without a doubt, this is it for me.
That's right.
So
Same.
absolutely, like this is like when I made the decision to go, I don't ever want to have to do this ever again,
Ever again.
ever
Yes.
again.
Yes.
So I'm incredibly happy. I'm excited. I'm energized again
I'm
with,
honored to be a part of
yeah,
the community
absolutely.
and the
And I'm
family.
very, very thankful for everything that has happened so far, and I'm very excited for the future.
That's right.